We have seen that currents create magnetic fields, and the direction and magnitude of those fields depend on the specific geometry of the wires carrying the current. For instance, the magnetic fields around straight wires, loops, and solenoids are distinctly different. However, we can obtain all of these magnetic fields and the magnetic fields from current-carrying wires of any shape from a general law known as Ampere's law. Ampere's law specifies the relationship between an electric current and the magnetic field that it creates. It is the magnetic equivalent of Gauss's law, which specifies the relationship between an arbitrary charge distribution and the electric field it creates, which we studied in Chapter 18. To see how Ampere's law is applied, consider the figure, which shows two wires carrying currents I1 and I2. In general, there could be any number of currents. Around the wires, we construct an arbitrarily shaped but closed path. This path encloses a surface, and we break the perimeter of this surface up into many short segments of length delta L. At any one of these segments, the total magnetic field will be equal to the vector sum of the fields from the two currents, and we can break that total field down into components that are parallel and perpendicular to the segment delta L, as the figure shows. Ampere's law deals with the product of delta L and B parallel, and as long as the magnetic field is constant in time, then the law states that the sum of all the B parallels times each delta L is proportional to the net current passing through the surface enclosed by the arbitrary path. In the figure, the net current I would be equal to I1 plus I2. Here is Ampere's law for static magnetic fields. For any current geometry that produces a magnetic field that does not change in time, i.e. the field is static, then the sum of the product of B parallel times delta L is equal to mu naught times I, where delta L is a small segment of length along a closed path of arbitrary shape around the current, B parallel is the component of the magnetic field parallel to delta L, I is the net current passing through the surface bounded by the arbitrary path, and mu naught is the magnetic permeability of free space. The symbol sigma indicates that the product of B parallel times each delta L must be summed up around the entire closed path.